Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Property Management 101, and today I'll be reviewing with you how to manage your social media as a property management company. Now, there are many different types of social media platforms, and all of them have their unique algorithm. And those platforms and algorithms will change from time to time. But today I'll be sharing with you a couple practices that you're going to want to ensure that you're doing regardless of the type of platform. The first best practice that you want to do is you want to post consistently. Now, regardless of the type of platform, every one of the platforms, based off their algorithms, show that you want to post consistently if you really want to build your audience. Now, your audience will actually have a good expectation when they can expect a post, so they'll be on the lookout for that. So you always want to make sure that you're posting consistently to your social media page. I would highly recommend it being the same person or the same department that are consistently the ones posting. This will keep the message and the theme consistent and the same, and you don't want to have a situation where it's a different person every single time, not really following suit. So whoever is posting on your social media page, it's best to have that person be consistent, whether it be the department or whether it be the person. Now, when it comes to posting, you want to make sure you're mixing up the type of updates. I would not always recommend just updating when every time you have an event or when every time you're about to perform inspections on the property. Those things are important, but you're always going to want to mix up your posts to allow the audience to engage in something new, to keep it spark their interest. So here's a couple things to keep in mind that are good things to post on your social media page. You can include things like local events in the community. You can include events that are happening at your property. You can include any type of holiday schedule that may change your office hours. You could also include things that are impacting the whole community. You want to include anything that may be a change to your office hours or days that you're open. You could also include things like upcoming inspections that are going to be occurring, or you're going to be including like things like when the pool may be opening or closing at your community. And these are some things to keep in mind as far as different topics to post. If you're enjoying this video and learning something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. The second practice that you want to keep in mind when you're managing your social media page is you want to inspect your page often. You always want to ensure that everything on your page is 100% updated. You want to make sure your profile picture is also periodically changed. Maybe you want to change it with the seasons, or maybe you want to change it each month. Keeping that fresh is an also really good thing to keep your audience tuned. You also want to always make sure that your general information about your property is always up to date. This includes your phone number, your website, any email addresses you have listed to it, any other contact information you may be utilizing like chat services. Another thing to keep in mind is that your office hours and days open are always updated as well. This will be really important because this often will push out to any type of search engines or third-party advertising sites, and you really want to make sure this information is always updated to ensure any residents or prospects or vendors that are trying to get a hold of you know the best time to get a hold of you. And if you're periodically inspecting, you should make sure that there's no missed comments or missed messages to your social media pages. And this is a great segue into the third practice that you should always be doing. You should always be responding to every single comment and every single post. Going back to my first best practice, if you have someone that's going to be consistently the one responding to any messages or any comments to any post, it's always best to have someone that's maybe not working directly at that property all the time. This will remove the emotional part about it, so it's not a situation where they come across as defensive or emotional. They're thinking logically and clearly how they're responding to these, and that is something that's going to be really important as well to keep that consistent theme. Now, if it is something that's negative that can be seen by the public eye, I would highly recommend trying to take that conversation off the viewpoint of the public eye and maybe one-on-one into an email exchange or a phone call. Now, if you know that person that's leaving that negative comment, it is something that I would recommend reaching out to them directly if you have their contact information. And once you do respond to them directly, if you do have their contact information, I would always recommend to still go back and respond where it can be seen in the public eye that you did respond and reach out to them to help fix their issue. You could say something along the lines of, hey, I reached out to you via email. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Please respond at your earliest convenience. This shows other individuals viewing that page that you do care about your residents, you do not ignore people, and that you do get back to everyone. What you really want to avoid is having a situation where you both are responding to each other about a negative situation. It could come across as very negative, and that's why it's always good to take that message or take that comment and take it offline, so it's not a situation where you're dealing with this individual situation at the masses where everyone can see it. You want to bring it offline, try to fix their issue, but at least respond publicly to let them know that you have reached out to try to attempt to fix their issue. And a bonus tip for you today is you want to encourage all staff, all vendors, and all residents to follow your social media pages. Now, this is something that I would also include staff or employees that may be working for your company, but then maybe they don't work directly for that site. Maybe they work at another site or in charge of different sites, but you still want to encourage them to follow and like your page. This is going to be really important as well to give everyone updates of what's going on at your property. I would also include and encourage residents that are connecting by giving them the information in their move-in packet. I would also encourage residents to connect to your social media pages by periodically sending out an email. This is another form and method to get out any updates or alerts about the property as well. You could also include in everyone's email signature your links to your social media pages as well. And this is something that I really feel is forgotten about more than the others, is that allow and encourage your vendors to join your social media pages as well. And I would also vice versa follow their pages as well. This will be important because if a vendor is trying to get a hold of you or send you an invoice or ask you a question, they know maybe you're closed that day because they followed your social media pages. So this is really a good practice as well. And this is one I tend to see forgotten about, is having vendors connect to your social media pages as well. And just to recap what we discussed on this video, you always want to make sure you're posting consistently. You always want to make sure you're inspecting your profiles often, and you always want to make sure you're responding to all messages and all comments that are left on your social media page. And don't forget about that bonus tip to have all employees, vendors, and residents follow your pages as well. If you've not already done so, please watch my disclosure video as well as my why I do this video. And if you did find this information helpful and learned something new, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. And if you haven't already, please connect with our LinkedIn and Instagram page for industry news, polls, and video releases. If you have any questions about this video or any of my videos, feel free to comment. I'll be happy to address it for you. Happy leasing.